My name is Kendrix Thomas, and this is the Photo Breakdown.
Photo Breakdown is a podcast where I talk with a photographer, sharing the story of a specific photograph, technique, or business win. I'm your host, Scott Weidenkivowitz, and this is the Photo Breakdown. Let's break it down. Hello, my name is Scott Weidenkivowitz, your host of Photo Breakdown, and today I'm sitting down with Kendrix Thomas to talk about a really cool photo that I'm especially excited to talk about because, well, one, for those who know me, who have listened to me for a while, who have followed my YouTube channel, whatever, you know that I do karate, specifically Goju-Ryu. And the photo that we're going to be talking about today and digging into is actually a Muay Thai photo and in Thailand. And so this is going to be a fun one. So hi, Kendrix. How you doing?
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yes, I've been doing some editing this morning. I did a surprise proposal session last night, so lots of photos to go through. So that's what I've been doing this morning. Lots of editing.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've got two questions for you. The first question: who has been the biggest influence on your life?
Biggest influence on my life. If we're talking from a photography standpoint, I would have to say my mother. She put a camera, video and photo camera in my hands as a very young child, young age. I've always been fascinated by photos and video cameras. So she was the one put me first in the game of photography back in the old film days. So she definitely had a big influence on my photography life and my life overall.
Awesome. That's a good answer. All right. So my second question: if you could only photograph one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One thing, I'll have to say a genre overall would be landscapes. Any type of landscape photo, outdoor photo, whether it be the beach or the mountains or anything in between. I would be just happy doing that until I'm in the grave. That brings me extreme joy, and I can never get enough of it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like if I could never photograph another person for the rest of my life,
Right.
and didn't have to worry about taking care of my family or anything like that, I would 100% just get into the Zen zone and photograph landscapes.
Right. I love it.
Before we dive in, this episode is sponsored by my lead generation course for photographers called More Leads, More Clients. Yes, if you would like to increase the leads you're generating on your photography site, you can use the strategies I teach in my course. Access it at scottwyden.com/leads. Awesome. So let's break down the photo. This photo, first of all, you are originally from Atlanta, Georgia, here in the United States. This photo is in Thailand, where, from what I understand, you moved to Thailand.
Right. Actually, I'm from Memphis. I'm originally from the Memphis area. Yeah, that's where I was born and raised and grew up, Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee area. I moved to Atlanta and did some personal photography there for a while. And then I moved to Thailand in 2012. And that's where I took off with freedom of photography and got to getting into photographing Muay Thai fights.
It's awesome. Yeah. So how did you wind up? How did you wind up in Thailand? Like, of all places, how did you wind up there? And how did you get to this fight to begin with?
Well, photography isn't my full-time job. It's a very serious passion of mine, but my full-time job is I build wind farms. I'm a wind farm construction manager, and I accepted a job in Thailand to build Thailand's first wind farm. It's the first wind farm in Thailand and the biggest in all of Southeast Asia. And I was part of that project, which brought me to super rural Thailand, about 4 hours north of Bangkok, to a small village called Hoi Bong. And that is where I was helping build a wind farm. And on my time off and days off, of course, I was into photography already. I would go to the national parks and try to find things to photograph. And one day, one of the office admin girls was telling me about the Muay Thai fights that I should go to. And I went to one and I was completely hooked. This one particular on this photo was in a small town, maybe 30 minutes from the town I lived in, called Dan Kuntot. And it was at the Wat Banrai Temple. and that's how I end up getting to there. One of the girls at work told me about it, and it was one of the best photo experiences that I had in Thailand.
So about what year would you say this one was?
This photo was probably 2013 or
Wow, okay.
14, probably 2013, maybe a year or two after I moved to Thailand.
It's so interesting because one, um, so in the United States, traditional martial arts, which is what I study, there's no boxing ring. Muay Thai is all about in the boxing ring. They're heavy on kicking the legs. You know, they're all about strengthening and conditioning their bones to take the brute force, right?
Right.
So it's interesting that one the girl who lost is she knocked out? Like she's on the ground. She's
Oh yeah,
she's
nah,
kaput.
she's cold. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
wrap. It's done for her.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously the girl who won is very excited. You can see the smile
Extremely.
on her face.
She's
Yeah.
ecstatic.
Yeah. And what's so interesting is just from knowing the Muay Thai style. No, I've never trained it myself, but just from watching videos of it and studying it a little bit, she's not wearing both of them. They're not wearing any shin pads, and they go heavy at the shins. I can't imagine how much pain they both must have been going through
No, there's
during that
no
fight.
protection. There's no protection at all except for the gloves, and sometimes they wear a mouth guard, sometimes they don't. But
Right.
that's from the 8-year-old kids all the way up to the adults. There's no protection or anything. And this girl, I have the photos leading up to it. I should probably send you those too, so you can kind of see the combination leading up to her getting knocked out. But I think she got a side kick to the throat or the upper chest area, which took her out. And on the
Wow.
progression of the frames, you can see the girl that won raise her leg up. Then the next frame, kick her in the throat. Then the next frame, she has her hands up, and the other girl is asleep on the ground.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, so the photo that we're talking about, we're gonna be linking to in the show notes so everybody can go and check it out. But please be sure to browse the entire gallery because there's a lot of photos from this fight night. I guess from this one day, or is this multiple days in this?
This full gallery here is from a couple nights. At the beginning of the gallery, you can see that it's more like a rugged training gym, just in the
Yes.
jungle, where the guys are just kind of working out. And then after that, you see those same guys in the training. I mean, in the actual fight. That's from one night in Pak Chong. And then the third, you can see the feel of the photos. They all kind of have a feel. They're grouped together. They have a feel. And the third one on the bottom, where the girl got knocked out, that we're talking about now, that's on another fight. So
Right.
the gallery shows three different scenes: one in the training session and two actual fights on two different nights.
Awesome. So can you talk to me about what you had? It looks like maybe you had a flash with you potentially. Like, can you talk about what equipment you were using to photograph this one specific photo?
I did have a flash on me at the beginning of the early in the fights. I did not have to use the flash because I believe it was more in the daytime. So it was still light in the scene where I didn't have to use the flash. But
Mhm.
as the night progressed on, I had to turn the flash on so I can get better shots. But that's also a fine balancing act that you have to do too, because you don't want to flash or blind the fighters. So
Yes.
when I first started, I blinded a couple fighters, and I saw the people. I didn't know what they were saying. I couldn't speak Thai at the time. I can now, but at the time, I didn't know what they were saying. And they was like, "Hey, stop blinding the fighters." So I was like, "Okay, sorry." So, and it was a very bright flash. So I had to like kind of work on my timing with so that I wouldn't blind the fighters that bad. But yeah, so on that particular shot, I had 624 to 104. I was using a 5D Mark III, and I had a 24 to 105 F4 with the, I think it was a 400, the 400 XL flash. I forget it was the Canon flash, but
Okay.
I did have the external flash on, and the body was a 5D Mark III, and the lens was a 24 to 105 F4.
That's a great combination of camera and lens too. Obviously, with when it gets dark out, yeah, an f4 is going to be a little trickier, but at the same time, that camera has pretty good ISO, so
Yes, yes,
you
it
can make
does.
do.
It's
Yeah,
right. It's very good, but as it's low light and there's a lot of fast action going on,
yeah.
it really the flash helps capture some of the action because you have to pick your poison. Do you want to have low light but blurry photos, or you got to kind of have to find a fine line, and I think I found it with that one,
Yeah,
with that
yeah, I think, and
combination.
using the flash after she's already won and doesn't have to worry about getting punched in the face anymore or
Right.
kicked in the face, then at that point, it's all good. And it looks like, and I could be mistaken, but it actually looks like she won in the third round or something because there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 sign in the back corner that's actually illuminated at 3. So I'm assuming
Yep.
it was a third round knockout.
Yes, it was. It was the third round knockout. Each round lasted, I think, for the girls, her class. I think there was like the older teen girls. The rounds go for maybe 90 seconds, less than 2 minutes, I believe. And this was the third round. And from my remembrance, it was pretty much back and forth. She kind of had the upper hand for the most part, but it was a pretty evenly matched fight. And then she just timed that perfect kick to the chest throat area, and it was night night after that.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes your opponent having really good timing is a way to take a pretty big hit. So,
Yes, it was, and it's something to see the girls go at it. They go just as hard as the guys and the little kids.
yeah.
It's no just cutesy, dainty girls out there just slapping each other around. No, they were going full on knees to the face and elbows to the chin, and it's pretty intense to see.
Muay Thai is a pretty scary sport because because of the fact that how hard they train to condition their bodies, they're literally their arms and their legs conditioned to, and their elbows even, they do elbow strikes a lot to take brute force without pads. If that's not somebody you want to get into a fight with, even off, out of the rink on the street, like that's you would never know if they're a Muay Thai fighter and they can take it. So
Definitely. I mean, the conditioning is unreal. A lot of these fighters train from the time that they're kids. So, I
yeah,
mean, like if you look at their gallery at the training gym, off to the side, you got little kids
yeah,
just start kicking trees, and a lot of them they just kick trees all day since they're like 8 years old. So the time you get to like 16 and you're fighting, your whole shin leg is just a piece of steel. Like
yeah,
they just
yeah.
kick trees all day, and it's the conditioning. It's a very respectful. You don't see a lot of boasting. She's obviously excited on this photo, but it's not a very bravado or braggadocious sport. They're all it's a Buddhist culture and society, so they're very respectful and honorable in win and defeat. But the conditioning is, I mean, just a guy on the side of the road selling coconut water could be a championship Muay Thai
Right.
fighter. You never know.
Yeah, yeah,
And you don't
that's
want to find out either.
yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if I mean, just knowing the martial arts brotherhood or sisterhood that comes in play, it wouldn't surprise me if the girl who won, you know, helped when the girl who came, who got knocked out came to, if the girl who won helped her up and gave her a hug or a fist bump or whatever, that's what would happen
Right,
typically here anyway. So wouldn't surprise me.
right.
But see, I can't help but to get a little off topic from the photo itself because of the subject matter. But that's why I picked this photo. I love the photo. I love the subject matter. Um, I think the colors for this photo are just quite beautiful. They really pop out. Like her red shirt, the blue shorts matching the blue gloves, it all just really pops, and you even got the texture and detail in the really filthy mat on the in the rink, right? So you got that in there too.
Yes, it's man, it's not if you're a germaphobe, that's not somewhere you want to be. I could tell you that. It's
Yeah.
rural Thailand. It's hot. It's probably nighttime is probably cooled down to a nice cool 90, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. It's in the middle of the jungle. It's very hot. It's very steamy. There's smoky cigarettes, loud music. These people are playing this very high pitched. To me, it sounds like a squeal, screechy music. On this same link, on this same gallery at the top, you can see the videos, the video of the kids, but it's that same night. And you can, if you watch that video clip, you can get a feel of what the environment was like with the noise and the yelling, and it's very intense. But the colors here, I didn't do a lot of editing on that. There's those actual how intense the colors were on that. So it's just how everything looks on the photo. That's real colors.
Awesome. I think that says a lot for one, just getting the correct exposure, using the flash there worked well. And then also, the Canon body that you were using has beautiful color as well, which helped that as, at the same time. So I think it's accumulation of everything. So thank you so much for breaking down this photo with me. One more question or two more questions. What should I have asked?
What should you have asked me but didn't? I'm not sure. I think we covered the photo pretty good. We covered all the details. Again, I think it would bring some context to this photo. If I don't know if you have or not, but if the people, and if they click on in the show notes, they can scroll up and see the video of the fight, not this particular fight on the photo, but the fights from that night. You can get a feel of the environment, and I think that brings another element. If you can hear the noise, and every time there's a punch or a kick, the crowd reacts, and it's smoky and loud. It's kind of like those stereotypical Southeast Asian hot, sweaty jungle fights you see kind of in the movies a little bit. There's a little truth to that. But if you just look at that video clip, I think you can get a feel of the environment, and that'll put this photo that we're talking about into context a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, everybody should definitely, I'm going to be linking directly to the photo, but you can always browse through the rest of this page, this gallery, the videos, Kendrix's full site. So speaking of which, where can our listeners connect with you online?
They can connect, of course, on my website, freedomofphotography.com. I have all of my links there. They can interact with me on there, leave comments, or reach me by email. Or if they want to reach out to me directly on social, I don't do Twitter too much, but I'm on Instagram at I am Kendro, I am Kendro, or on Facebook at my name, Kendrix Thomas. And they can see all of my photos and interact with me and kind of see what I do through all of my travels. I've been to 40 plus countries, so I have a wide portfolio of photos that they can interact with me and connect with me through.
Awesome. Thank you for listening to the Photo Breakdown. For the show notes and to see the photo shared today, visit photobreakdown.com.